looking and beginning in South Sudan with what is happening in South Sudan right now. As I mentioned earlier, November the 12th is a big day for South Sudan. Will they have a happy medium as far as the peace agreement is concerned? Will they have a transitional government? That is a question that everyone is eagerly awaiting. Already we can see their conditions that are being put forth by also Dr. Machar as it is right now. But how will that portend for the entire South Sudan peace deal? We just want to rope in, first of all, analyst. Let's hear from Dr. Hassan Khanenje, who is the director at the Horn Institute. Good morning, sir. Let's just begin from there.
Yeah, good morning. Dibal, it's a extremely sad situation because I see a prospect of more chaos in South Sudan. Mm-hmm. Now, there are certain fundamental things that were agreed on in the revitalized agreement that were supposed to be implemented before November 12th.
Yes.
And there doesn't seem to be a political will to actually implement them. Yes. Now, President Kiir has vowed to go ahead and form a government.
Yes.
By that time, with or without Machar. No, you cannot do that. You know, there are two parties to this agreement. Now, without demobilizing, without merging the armies, you know, you're going to create several, you know, problems within the country. And I think we'll not be surprised if there is another breakout of conflagrations within South Sudan. Now, in any international peace agreement, or whether it's as a result of internal conflict, the civil war, you always need some third-party guarantor, but who can allow or at least assist parties in enforcing the agreement, and with enough carrots and sticks to do that. Yes. Either it could be a regional organization or a powerful country or a combination of all of the above. The trouble is we're not seeing parties that are moving in a united front in ensuring that they force these parties in South Sudan to actually agree to the deal. And unless the world wakes up, whether it's the regional organization, the African Union, the United Nations, or the European Union, to impose extremely painful sanctions and punishment to these parties to force them to actually abide by their own agreement, we're going to lose South Sudan again. It's going to be a tragedy.
It's going to be a tragedy.
Yes.
But let's just look at some of the issues that are being put forth here by Machar, first of all, as conditions if they're actually going to form this transitional government that is supposed to be sworn in on November the 12th. So he's asking that we have a pushback for 6 months. Already we've been eagerly waiting for this transitional government to happen so far. Do you think you support the pushback of 6 months? Should they extend? And should also maybe Kiir support the extension? Maybe he feels that things are not clear. He wants 6 months down the line. Hashi, quickly.
The government of Kenya, first of all, has to send its military to the border of South Sudan. I know these fellow South Sudanese. They are our people. I know their mentality. They're not going to agree. The problem of South Sudan is Salva Kiir. Salva Kiir is the president, and Salva Kiir needs to know that the buck stops with him and that he's got to implement this agreement that he went and signed with Machar. They've gone to the extent to put the name of Machar in the agreement, just to make sure that there's no hanky-panky when it comes to dealing with Mr. Kiir. You remember the whole problem started when Mr. Kiir accused Machar of trying to overthrow him. This is where the problem came from. And the whole world has been getting down on their feet, literally as the way the Pope, the Holy See got down on his feet to kiss their feet to ask them to reconcile. You know, it's an embarrassing thing for all of Africa. South Sudan is part of Africa. It's part of our region. So whatever is happening there affects us. So I think that these people don't understand the carrot. And I think the only thing that they understand is force. And I think that force needs to be applied with really high intensity, because the people who are suffering and who are dying and who are going through all this is They're normal people in South Sudan who have really suffered for nearly 50 years, and they continue to suffer under the boot of people like Salva Kiir. It is sad, true, it is sad, but you know, it's not the end of history. The government of Kenya is the principal actor in this region, and you know, I'm afraid that refugees are going to start streaming down that border, and the Kenya government ought to send troops there. So that they make sure that this doesn't happen.
All right.
And I also think that the president of Kenya should call Salva Kiir and tell him off in no uncertain terms, because he needs to sign that agreement and stop this bloodletting in South Sudan.
All right, so the bloodletting, but of course we've seen maybe the highest office as far as you know, the clergy is concerned, the Pope, as you mentioned, kissing both the feet of Riek Machar and Salva Kiir as well, telling them kindly, let's have a happy medium finally for the sake of South Sudan. If maybe they're in the violation of this, do you think maybe even President Uhuru Kenyatta can, you know, turn the dial the other way?
Dibala, I don't think there's any other form of influence, military, political, or moral, that will influence these two leaders, Salva Kiir.
Because we tried everything.
I think everything has been tried.
Negotiations.
The Pope went down on his knees to kiss these guys' feet. The Pope is even more influential than Trump, the President of the United States of America, in terms of influence. And here we have two people whose perhaps tribal calculations is not in place, and therefore Salva Kiir just wants to go ahead, but Riek Machar wants to have more time. I don't think South Sudan is going to heal. It's time, or rather long time ago, these two guys should have gone. And they should have now been having another transition leadership in place in South Sudan. The IGAD, I'm sure people at IGAD, at the African Union, are shaking their heads and say, what's wrong with these two? South Sudan has become the shame of Africa, the newest country in Africa, and yet it's really going down the drain so fast, and nothing seems to be stopping that.